Hi, Madonna, Louise, Veronica Ciccone here.
When will you understand that I am a person and not a thing?
Look it up.
Do something else. Do my eyebrows.
Better to say, am I being true to myself? And is this what I want to say? And have I expressed myself the way I want to express myself? I mean, that's what it's all about.
Hi, this is Juan Pablo Di Pace, and you're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast.
Hey guys, it's Tony. Welcome back to the show.
Hey everybody, it's Stefan. Thanks for joining us for another episode of MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna, Louise, Veronica Ciccone. And today we are so happy to welcome Juan Pablo Di Pace to the podcast. Juan Pablo, welcome.
Hi, how are
Hey
you?
Juan Pablo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
How is Madrid today?
Madrid is sunny. Madrid is mom making mom food. It's a Saturday. Yeah, it's lovely, lovely. We had like the weirdest snowstorm a month ago, but now it's back to its normal sunniness. So it's good.
Oh, that's
jealous.
good. Yeah, we had the same snowstorm a month ago, and it's still freezing cold here.
Yeah.
And how's everything with COVID over there? Are you staying safe and healthy and everything's fine?
I mean, I'm literally not seeing any of my friends at all since I've stayed with my folks because I came from LA. I live in LA, and I've been here since Christmas. And yeah, I kind of sort of to protect my folks, I just don't see any friends. So I've literally been living with my parents. I feel like I'm 13 again.
That's got to be sweet. I'm sure your mother is cooking you some delicious meals.
It is. I love them.
When the pandemic first began, I left New York out of like fear and anxiety and crashed with my mom and her boyfriend for 3 months. And I was living upstairs and I'm like, my mom was making dinners and doing laundry. And I'm like, this is really strange. This is a bizarre, like, I felt like I'd traveled back in time with all of my 40 something aches and pains. So,
Well, I became my own mother, so now I'm a domestic diva that I wasn't before. So.
Oh, wow. Are you like cleaning everything?
Oh, cleaning everything. I'm cooking every night. I'm buying cookbooks. I mean, who is this person?
Yeah, but I think that happened to all of us. Like, don't you think we've all become like we used to order food and stuff like that or eat out, and I think people now are just cooking way, way more than before, which is actually a good thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about all those times, I'm sure you as well, coming home after, like a 12-hour day and, your time at home is very abbreviated. And now it's the other way around. It's like, oh, my time outside of the home is abbreviated and I have to, work it out like that. But yeah, I mean, I think we're never going to be, quote, normal, unquote, again. But what we're heading into is going to be a more mindful mindset, I would say.
I think so. I believe so. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, they are not cooking at home here in NYC, in Manhattan, because I am constantly in fear of getting run down by the flock of bike messengers.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not just like regular bike messengers anymore. It's all electric bikes. So they go at like 30 miles an hour. And so you see a bike coming down the street. You're like, oh, I've got time to cross the street. No, you do not, because that bike it flies by. And I'm like, I literally would end up in the hospital if I got rammed by one of them. So it's not a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
It's definitely survival of the fittest.
Before we get started more chatting, Tony, can you give Juan Pablo a proper introduction to our audience?
Absolutely. Juan Pablo was born in Buenos Aires, also known as the Big Apple for you Evita fans, and currently he resides in Madrid, Spain. But he also lives in LA, so I guess he's bi-continental, if that's a thing. A self-proclaimed storyteller, Juan Pablo dances between music, film, and directorial projects. He's been on television. You may know him as Fernando on Netflix's Emmy-nominated Fuller House, which is a huge hit. And he was on season 27 of Dancing with the Stars here in the U.S. He's been in films such as Mamma Mia, Survival Island, many, many others. Juan Pablo is also a recording artist who's been releasing music since 2010. He's got an amazing voice, and his latest song, Fall on Me, was just released on February 26th with a gorgeous video that he himself directed. So he's also done stage work on the West End in London, in Italy, Spain, and New York City with the solo show An Evening with JP, which was, I believe, at 54 Below. Without further ado, here is Juan Pablo.
Wow, I'm dizzy just listening to all that stuff. God. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Well, that was sweet.
It's just a snippet, just a small overview.
Just a little
That's
getting
it.
to know
The
you.
show is over. That's all you need.
Well, and actually, Fall on Me, that's not your current single. You have a new single just out, right?
Yeah. So Follow Me was the first single of this EP because it's all part of an EP.
Uh-huh.
And that was the first in January. And then February, I released Senti, which is actually the first song I released in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the one I directed. Follow Me was directed by Manolo Pavon, who works with Almodovar a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar winner Almodovar. And then, the second one I co-directed with him called Senti. And I'm looking now into shooting video number 3 on Tuesday. Because
Juan
every
Pablo,
song will have a video.
Was this your first time stepping behind the camera?
No. I've been directing for years.
Okay, we can get to
I have
that.
directed probably about 5 or 6 music videos and 7 short films. So no, I love it. I've always kept it there as a thing that I do for myself. But I think I'm now definitely stepping more into the directing is stepping more into the forefront. Because I'm very close to directing my first feature, like long movie. So
like Madonna.
Well,
FYI, that's our segue because we're going to get to your
Madonna.
We're going to get to your career, but I do want to have a little Madonna sesh before we get to the.
It's called the Madonna podcast, so we got to talk Madonna.
Yeah, we want to know about your Madonna journey, which undoubtedly started in Argentina, one of Madonna's favorite places to perform.
Yeah, when did you become a Madonna fan? How did that journey start?
Well, let me just backtrack because I definitely started paying attention because she was already around when I was a kid, but I really started paying attention on erotica.
Mm-hmm.
That was
that's a good one to pay attention to.
Yeah, because it coincided with my puberty. And the sex book and the videos and everything. And I remember, I remember probably it was like a radio performance. It was the Live Down Under from Sydney, from the Girlie Show tour. And they showed that in radio. So I just remember listening to that and going, this is really great freaking music. And so then I started kind of paying attention to the rest, and I was completely immediately hooked. And so then I backtracked into Like a Prayer and Dick Tracy stuff and True Blue and all that. But my beginning point started with erotica, especially because the time was so daring and so I was mesmerized by the Stephen Meisel pictures from that book.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, this is how much that book had an impact on me. My dissertation for philosophy at school was on Madonna's sex book.
I want to read it.
And I got all A's on that, and that was it was sent as an example of a great, I don't know, philosophy major work by a student, and I was like, do you realize I'm talking about sex in this whole thing?
Did you include pictures? Were there pictures included in the book as well?
Of course I did. Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, she's definitely always been a huge source of inspiration for me, as well as an artist, because there's something about her that no one else has really done since, and no one was doing before, which is, I don't know, there's an ownership to her imagery.
Mm-hmm.
A way that she can get inspired by Frida Kahlo or, Marlene Dietrich or whatever, or Marilyn. But at the same time, it is quintessential Madonna. So it's like the Madonna filter that she puts everything she does, she puts it through her filter, and it's so original.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the care. Like that's what I admire the most is her care for the quality of what she puts out. You can tell the woman is in charge of everything and she's a control freak, but that's the way to do it. And I think all the greats are that. All the greats are control freaks. Like I don't know any lazy great.
Exactly. No, Juan Pablo, that's really interesting you say that because, she channels all these influences and all this energy, but it's like we've never seen Madonna in costume. She can never hide because she's, her personality is just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's incandescent.
Yeah.
Have you seen her in concert?
Have I seen her in concert? That's a funny question.
Fill it, Juan Pablo.
I'm shy to say I've seen her too many times.
Oh no!
I think I started seeing her live around, was it Drown World? What was before Drown World? Because it was the one.
Well, Girlie Show. So you wouldn't have seen Girlie Show because that's when you came in. So yeah,
it was Drown World. It was Drown World. Drown World in London, and I remember I was so friggin' poor at the time. I was like working 5 jobs and going to like drama school at the same time and ushering and everything. And I could only afford like the nosebleed tickets, which was so far away. And I remember I saw nothing. I just saw a little square of light. It was a massive stadium in London, Earl's Court. And, but I'm pleased to say that throughout the years, I've seen her over and over again. And I always get closer and closer and closer.
Sounds like me.
To like cut to Madame X, she was literally sitting. You know when she goes to sit in the audience and talk to someone?
Yes.
She was literally in the row, like in front of me. So I could if I reached, I could touch her face. So that was nice.
Yeah, Tony and I, we were 4th row in New York in Brooklyn for Madame X, and it was the same thing when she came and sat down in the audience.
Yeah.
We were
like Stefan, I could see the top of her wig.
Yeah, we're looking at her wig. We were obsessed with her wigs for Madame X. So
I will never forget, like when she was coming down the stairs into the audience, and she looked straight at me at one point, and when you sort of like get this kind of like you just gasp of because it was like a lion looking at you. It wasn't a woman. It wasn't a person. It was like a feline, non-human lioness that was looking.
A hungry tiger. But Madonna's been known to like a handsome Latin man, so take it as a compliment.
It was But can I say what my favorite was?
Sure,
yes, please.
Confessions. I thought was really just perfect. Just the whole thing from beginning to end was gorgeous.
Yeah, I think so many people agree with that. Just the era, from single choices to videos to styling to the tour, everything was just so on point.
So spot on.
Yeah, and I think we hold her to that standard now, which is unfortunate for her because she obviously she can't. As with life, not everything goes off according to plan sometimes. And so I think it's unfortunate that we always are like, it's not like Confessions.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, tell that to the holograms at the Billboard performance.
I tell you what, though, I got really excited when I saw a Guy Oziri post on Instagram not long ago. And he's like, I'm still trying to convince Madonna to tour a Ray of Light, as a tour, bring it back and do like an anniversary tour. I'm like, oh my god, that would just that would
from beginning to end. That would be great.
Yeah, she's good. No, I'm glad that you were able to see her on tour. That's and did you like the Madame X tour compared to her other tours? What did you think about that?
I was really excited to see her in a smaller venue. I thought that was a really cool, bold choice to play smaller theaters. I saw her at the Wiltern in San.
You can be honest. It's fine. It's fine.
No, but I agree. I agree with most of the people that were there, and I think, look, like her demographic is probably people our age, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, I would say. So whenever she does things like Frozen, we that's what we love, right?
Yeah.
So when she did Frozen with the whole Lola thing, that was my favorite moment of the whole show. So I kind of wish she would sort of acknowledge that demographic a little bit more, because we are the people who are going to those concerts. So I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying, please just keep saying
Well,
that.
so I think you wanted a bit more classics, which is, I mean, that's a lot of people want,
Maybe.
Madonna classics
But
when they go.
That's a really unforgiving thing to say, because she has to keep making records, and she's of course going to explore all kinds of avenues. So I don't think that's a very kind thing for me to say. No, I just want her to do Frozen, because that's not what I'm saying. I just, for example, there were songs on this album which I loved, and they were not the choice for the tour, like Looking for Mercy, or even Faz Gostoso was a great song that she didn't play. So I think it just comes to what she wants to say in that particular tour. I think this tour, for some reason, had a lot of like heavy political content, and maybe those songs were reflecting that for her.
I mean, if she had just done like a 3-hour show, she could have slotted in a bunch more hits, and then everyone would have been happy.
But Juan Pablo, I understand where you're coming from, though, because I would have liked to have heard more of the classics, but done in a Portuguese fado style, or maybe done like world music. When she sang 2 lines from La Isla Bonita, I'm like, you can do the whole song,
I mean, she's very famous for doing this, right? For like, and I applaud the fact that whenever she does a new tour, she really does push the new songs. And a lot of singers always feel nervous about that, because they're like, "Ooh, I'm going to lose my core audience if I don't do the old songs." But she doesn't. She's like, "No, fuck it. I'm going to do the songs I want to do, and I'm going to do the new one." So for that, I really love her, because she's defending her new work in most of the tours have just a lot of the new songs. So,
Juan Pablo, I've spoken many times on the show about how Madonna's Spanish-speaking fans, Latin American fans, Spanish fans, how they are just out of control, crazy. What can you say
in a good way? In a good way,
yeah. I feel like we can relate to her in a way that maybe white people can't. But tell us what your opinion is of that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think it goes right back to her first albums and La Isla Bonita, and the fact that she had so many of her kind of ideal men or ideal culture were Latin men in a moment in history when that wasn't that fashionable. It wasn't hot. Like, this is prior to Antonio Banderas being, a leading man on Hollywood. Like, she was really pushing the ideal of beauty way earlier than anyone else, in terms of, the I don't know, mainstream, right? Same with Vogue, same with like so many things that we love her for, is that she was saying to us, this is beautiful, this is cool, before we all agreed. You know what I mean? So the fact that the Latinos felt seen so early on by her in videos like, the guy with the long hair playing the guitar in La Isla Bonita, or even the gang, not the gang members, but when she was like dancing in her earlier videos.
The Salvadoran guys from Borderline,
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff is like, and also the black kids, she was really like playing with showing to the world the beauty of inclusion and also of diversity. Before it was cool to show diversity.
No, absolutely. I mean, I saw myself, growing up in the 80s in her milieu, in her videos, in her shows, and it was so important. When we had Luis on the show, I told him how important it was for, I was a teenager and I saw, Latino gay Latino men on a world stage performing with the biggest star in the world. And I told him that was so important, because then it made me think that like I can be seen too,
Well, it normalizes it, when you have someone that you respect like Madonna, and Madonna's popular and she's, in charge, when she presents something, and you're seeing this as a confused gay teenager, then suddenly you're thinking, oh, this is okay. I'm okay. This is fine to be this person, or be this, feel this way, or think this way, or dress this way. And I think she created that safe space for a lot of people. And I think that's amazing. I'm glad that she does that with her platform.
No, I just don't think that she gets enough credit for that. Like, remember when she was being flanked by Carlton on one side of her, and the other Asian dancer on the other side of her.
Right. I mean, Girlie Show.
That was such a beautiful image, And that for me also was like maybe the beginning of my awakening, like sexual awakening too. Like, holy shit. So yeah, I thank her for that, for being so kind of trailblazing in the diversity conversation, which wasn't a conversation back.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we have a little Madonna out of the way, I mean, she can come back up throughout the rest of the conversation.
You can come back. You can bring it back whenever you want.
Feel free to Madonna pun away. It's fine. But I do want to talk a little bit about your storied career, because you've got some great career moments, and we'll start obviously with Fuller House. So you played Fernando on Fuller House. How did that happen for you?
How?
You called up the Olsen twins and you were like, "Hey, I want to be on the revival,"
and they said, "Good, go ahead, because we're not going to be on it."
Exactly. Can I take your place? No, they just. I had a horrible pilot season. You know what pilot season is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had a horrible pilot season, 2015. I had done probably the most difficult role of my career, Jesus Christ, just before, for Roma Downey for NBC. And in my head, I was going, ugh, it's going to be so hard to top this part, to like do something better than this. And so I think I bombed about 40 auditions, mostly because I felt like nothing was good enough. Like, I didn't want to play a drug addict. I didn't want to play, a cop. I didn't want to play a fireman. I didn't want to play a doctor. Like, no role lived up to what I had just
Jesus
played.
Christ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
when you play Jesus Christ, it's all,
it's like,
where do you go?
Yeah, totally. So I think it was more of an identity crisis that I went through right after that, because I just felt like nothing was enough. Nothing was good enough. And so probably my fault that I didn't do a great job on most of the pilot season auditions. And then I decided, well, fuck this. can I say fuck?
Yes. Oh, it's a Madonna podcast. You're allowed.
Oh, yeah, of course. So I said, fuck this. I'm going to go visit my folks in Spain, and I'm going to take a break from Hollywood, just to clear my head. And as I'm literally like buying my flight, I'm like, hey, my agent's like, there's one more casting. There's one more thing before you go. Can you just go tomorrow to this address? It's a revival of a show from the 80s. Okay, yeah, sure. So I go there, and the guys before me are hysterical. Like, I can hear the room. I can hear the casting directors laughing like hyenas. They were laughing so hard. I'm going, oh, fuck's sake, I'm not gonna get this. And so, one by one, all the other guys walk in and out, and I'm left last. And I go in there, and I think something in my brain just said, okay, you have nothing to lose. Please make a fool of yourself. And so I did. I became like the weirdest kind of clownist, actor they'd seen, and I got the part. But funny enough, Netflix afterward were like, yeah, can you just tone it down a little bit from your casting?
Take it down to a 2.
Can you just take it down a bit? But yeah, I was so like when you have those moments when you've had enough and you just feel like you have nothing to lose. So what the fuck? That was my Fernando audition. Yeah.
Well, so and you booked that, and at first you were just you were not a full-time cast member. You were just like a reoccurring character, but then you got promoted to full-time cast member in the second season. So obviously you must have been doing something right.
I guess. I mean, they couldn't get rid of me after that. No, I think the telltale sign was on episode 1 of the new show, like season 1, the pilot, because no one really knew. I mean, I didn't even know what I was walking into. I didn't know that the audiences were so hungry for the show. So I think it was a surprise also for Warner, for Netflix, for everybody. Like it was like a runaway hit within, it being announced, and then it didn't disappoint. But on that first taping, no one knew. We could have bombed. We could have been a disaster. Like the chemistry of a new show is so vulnerable, is so frail. It's like it's a glass box that can be shattered in a second if one of the pieces doesn't work. So we were very lucky that we immediately found that chemistry with all of us. And so I guess when I opened my mouth, my very first line, I think I said, "Hello, DJ." Like that was my first line. She opens the door and I go, "Hello, DJ." And and people were laughing at my first line. So I think that was probably why I stayed, is that I didn't fall over myself or vomit all over myself and made people laugh, which is what they were looking for.
Juan Pablo, Full House isn't really known in the Spanish-speaking countries, so I don't think you grew up watching Full House. So did you have you have to go back and do some homework and study? And
no, I did not grow up with Full House. I grew up with The Nanny. I grew up with Seinfeld a little bit, Friends, but not Full House. So I didn't. That's what I mean. I didn't know what I was walking into. Like I knew it was it was a great show within the 80s, but I didn't really know the power it had and how much people really missed it.
Yeah, Full House was a full-on babysitter for millions of children in America.
What was for the actresses that were returning to these roles that they had when they were kids? What was their response that you were able to witness? Like, were they like just marveling at things constantly? Like, oh my God, this is so much fun. We're back.
Oh my God, you've no idea how painful it was when we stopped, because for them it was like their dream situation, their dream job, working with people they adored. I mean, they've been to each other's weddings and funerals and birthdays and barbecues and christenings. Like these people have been friends since the original. So to go back and work together as a team, and for them it was like, winning the lottery. I mean, for all of us really, but the significance it had for the original cast was magical, and the fact that it was a success even more so, because it could have been, like I said, it could have not been a success. So when it finished, it was really painful, and they cried for a whole season. Like almost every Friday night we would tape, and they'd be in tears. I love them.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from fans about Fernando?
Oh, that's interesting. The first season, I was a little sad because I got a lot of I just got a lot of criticism, and as soon as like they started warming to Fernando, it was the complete opposite, and they were like, appreciation pages about Fernando, and people just loved him and Kimmy together. I think they didn't like the fact that I cheated on Kimmy's character at the beginning, so they hated me at the beginning. And then, no bueno. Yeah. But hey, you have to start bad to grow. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You have to gain the audience's trust.
You do. It was a good 180. Yeah.
Well, so speaking of Fernando, you got to be in the movie version of Mamma Mia. What was it like dancing with Meryl Streep?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was great. It was great. It was not only great for the fact that it was great, but also it was my very first day. My very first day when I walked into the rehearsal room, I just got cast, and I was one of the last people to get cast. So everyone else was already rehearsing and everything. And the way it worked is that we would rehearse the numbers in London, all of the numbers, the musical numbers of the show, of the movie. And then, like 2-3 weeks later, we started shooting. So we had like a good, solid, kind of like when you put on a musical on Broadway. You know, we had a solid rehearsal period of just the musical numbers. And so, yeah, I walk in, and it's really dark inside the studio. It was really light outside, so my eyes were adjusting to the place, and I get, you know, the Anthony Van Lass is like, hey, the choreographer, hey, JP, welcome to the family. Okay, we're doing Voulez-Vous, and, you know, you're going to dance with Meryl. And I look to my right, and there she is, you know. And so he put me with her, and I of course, I tried to be cool, but I was a 24-year-old kind of fan, really, dancing in Meryl Streep. So it was amazing. It was an amazing experience as a whole, just to be part of this movie, to be part of something that was, I mean, we knew we were doing something special. We didn't know how huge it would become.
Hi, Fernando. You are in. I'm calling you Fernando. Hi, JP. You're in like the highest grossing musical of all time. You know, it's no big deal.
No biggie, no biggie. Yeah, it was pretty spectacular just to be like, just to be present in those moments. Because, you know, once you have that kind of cast, I mean, Colin Firth, still one of my favorite people on the planet. And I was playing his boyfriend, and you know, dancing with Meryl, and just cracking jokes with all the other super mega stars there. I mean, it was just sort of surreal, really, because it wasn't just 3 actors; it was like a good 10 mega stars, and so yeah, it was a pretty great project to be a part of.
Juan Pablo, what's the name of the island that you guys shot on? That place is gorgeous.
It
And
was
how long were you
two
guys
different
there?
ones. Yeah, we shot it in Skiathos and Skopelos, and we were there. We shot all of Donna's hotel scenes in London in a soundstage at Pinewood. So the sky was like, you know, it was this green screen, and then we shot the rest in these 2 islands. And I want to say probably the whole thing took like 5 months, maybe.
That sounds like a dream come true.
I know. I always wanted to be part of. Sorry, I always wanted to be part of Lord of the Rings, and that was my Lord of the Rings.
There's your franchise moment. So you were also in what me and my friends like to call the cult classic Survival Island. I mean, I think
oh my god!
me and a bunch of we've got like, I think it's like maybe 6 of us, and for the last 10-15 years we're like, oh my god, Survival Island's on. So yeah, so last Wednesday I was flipping through the channels on cable, and Mamma Mia was on one channel and Survival Island was on the other one. So I was like, well, I might as well do some research here. But I don't know, am I the only one who sees the similarities between Survival Island and Swept Away?
No, you're not the only. Oh, wait a minute. Swept Away. I thought you were going to say Dead Calm.
Well, that too, but Swept Away, you know, Madonna was in that.
Away.
And
yes.
Did you see Swept Away, Madonna's movie?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. It was Swept Away. What year was that?
It was 2001.
Oh, so our movie was after. Okay, our movie was 2004. Of course I saw it, especially the scene where I'm being really nasty to her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge similarity.
And so you also worked with your sister Maria Victoria. What was that? What was the whole experience like? Just give us a little bit about it.
Well, it was great. It was my very first movie ever, and you know, I had to be on screen with the bad guy from Titanic, Billy Zane.
And Kelly Brooks. I mean,
and Kelly, who at the time was voted the most beautiful woman in the planet by FHM or something like that. So it was kind of a great first gig. I'll tell you that. And that gig showed me how green I was in making movies because when I got the script and I was studying it and I was doing the thing, I was shooting it, I really thought I was making, Sophie's Choice.
Titanic, yeah, Titanic 2.
I thought I was, Titanic 2. And then when we watched the film at the premiere in the Odeon Leicester Square Cinema, and there were places where people would laugh not at jokes, but they would just laugh at the movie. Like, I couldn't sink lower enough in my chair. I was so embarrassed.
No.
I was so embarrassed. But hey, look, it's now become a cult classic.
Yeah.
And
people love this movie. It's always
got
on
that
cable.
sort of B movie quality that is so kind of guilty pleasure like. So
Kelly's
I'm really
very over the top in this movie, and
Who, Billy?
I think
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
Billy and Kelly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I was at 100 really quick in some of those scenes.
But
So,
yeah, I just wanted to let you know that, I mean, people are watching this movie and they love it. And, they're not looking at it as the most serious film, but, people have fun with it. And that's all you can
No, but
hope
I would have liked some warning. I would have liked to know at the time, hey, you are making a B movie, okay? Because then I would have enjoyed a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, you could have twirled your mustache,
Totally. I could have been way nastier. Yeah.
You camped it up a little. Yeah, you would have camped it up. But hey, not all is lost. You got paid. You got a little bit of you were on an island. You got, you get to see you were in a movie with Billy Zane.
You get to hang out with your sister.
Yeah.
And that was lovely. We really loved being on set together. That was also a first
your
for us.
Your parents must have loved that too.
Yeah. And she was playing a psycho.
Yeah.
A voodoo psycho, like a witch. She was playing a witch. Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, our listeners, I think you should go and see this movie because we've just sold it so beautifully.
Well, hey, you get to spend a lot of the movie shirtless, so there's that. I mean,
it was a different era.
So last year you did a movie called Dashing in December,
making history.
Which I mean, I can't refer to it as like the gay Brokeback Mountain because it's not really a cowboy movie, but it is kind of Westernish. Yeah. There's some little Western styling
in it. There's horses.
Exactly. There's farm. But tell us about that. You had to film that during COVID. What was that whole experience like?
Well, we got used to it really quickly. I mean, we quarantined for, I think, 10 days because it was in Utah. And I flew from Madrid to shoot it. So that was kind of weird. I met Peter, my co-star, Peter Porte, literally via Zoom. We would have, FaceTime. We would FaceTime with each other, and we were like 2 doors down from each other.
Oh, how funny.
Because you couldn't leave your room. But then when we're all out of quarantine, I mean, it's the new normal. Everyone's wearing shields. Everyone's wearing masks. The actors are kind of spoiled because, you have makeup on, you have hair on. So they try not to make you put too many things on your face. But so we were kind of comfortable. I felt mostly for the crew because they're the ones who are spending literally 16 hours a day standing on their feet with masks and this and that and visors and tests. But like I said, I would, in a heartbeat, go back and do that over and over and over again than being sitting on my ass in lockdown, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus, this is like this new... it shouldn't be a new trend. I mean, it should be just the norm. But, this is also one of the first... same-sex Christmas films for the network. So tell us what that reaction was like from the public.
I was very happy about that, by the way. We need more of that. We need more.
We do. It was beautiful. It was just beautiful to make it because Jake Helgren, the director who wrote it also, I thought did a beautiful job in talking about the small things, the nuances, the subtleties of two men meeting each other. Like yes, it was a Christmas movie, but quintessentially, I think it was more of a men in their 30s getting to know each other and what that is like when these two men are completely different and they come from completely different places in their lives, and will this work? But not so much, are they in the closet? Are they not in the closet? Is one dying of AIDS? You know what I mean? So
it sort of avoided stereotypical tropes that we see in a lot of gay cinema.
Thank God it's not the 90s anymore.
Exactly. So I loved being part of that, and also, I mean, completely unexpected was being thrown into the conversation about all the other LGBTQ plus holiday films that came out this year. So it was great to be included in such an important conversation of why haven't we had this until now.
Yeah.
And also I just love the fact that Paramount Paramount really championed to make a movie that was original, because I feel like it isn't the same, and this is no shade, but it isn't the same writing a story with like a heterosexual couple in mind, and then changing the sexes of one of them, and then just thinking, oh, that's our, LGBT movie for the year.
Right.
And ours, I thought, was very specific to gay culture, and, like you said, no stereotypes. Yeah. So I'm very, very proud of that.
Well, so you had come out publicly in 2019. Was that a scary experience? Was it a relief? Did you obviously you were in Dashing in December, but like, were you worried about how it would affect your career?
No. And also it's funny because I always try to clarify what happened, because I think it's always news when anyone comes out. In my case, it wasn't really like a coming out situation. I was doing a TED talk about growing up and about the story that we tell ourselves. That's why it was called The Story of My Life. So I was asked to speak to a group of teenagers with this TED talk, because it was a TED talk for students. And they asked me to speak about kind of my journey and why I became an actor and this and that. And I thought, well, the only way that I can do this, honestly, is to talk about that one thing that maybe, I haven't said publicly before, but I wasn't in any closet. So I don't know. Nothing changed. There was no seismic, the earth didn't shatter for me. My career didn't change. My family didn't throw me out. Like it was a non-event,
Mm-hmm. Which is honestly how it should be. I mean,
exactly. It should not be traumatic.
I only bring it up just because I think it's ridiculous that we still have to make it such a big thing. Who cares who you're sleeping with? It's not you who are sleeping with the people. It's why we have to. Heterosexuals don't have to come out. It's like, why is that heterosexuality the assumed sexuality? It's such. And not to get political, but when we talk about equal rights, that's sort of baked into it. Like, that's what I want equal rights to be about, that we don't have to assume that everyone's straight, Sorry. And I'm stepping down from my soapbox.
No, but you're right. You're right. It's, I think the times are changing so fast as well. Like things that were normal just literally last year, now they're different. And we even look at how kids are today. When I say kids, I mean people who are now in their, teens and 20s. Mm-hmm. They have no issues, like zero issues.
Yeah.
They live their lives.
Which is great.
They look at us and go, huh? What is that problem?
Why were you afraid to do this? This is normal.
Yeah. So I think that's wonderful. And we should take a leaf out of their book.
Yeah.
So I loved you in Dancing with the Stars. I'm switching gears. I loved you in Dancing with the Stars in 2018. I was so upset. I had actually just missed seeing you. I'd gone to LA right before your season 27. So, and and I went to a taping of Dancing with the Stars just because my mom and I watch it. It's our little bonding show that we watch. And
I did not know this about you, Stefan.
Oh my God, I love Dancing with the Stars. I like, honestly, sometimes I just want to get famous so I could be on Dancing with the Stars. It's like, let me do something famous so that way they'll cast me.
Something famous.
Well, sleep with a politician.
Exactly. How was that experience like? I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but it also looks like a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's both. It's definitely both. More so the hard work, but when the fun comes into play, when you are there on the Monday, because you spend the whole day, right? So you spend like most of Sunday blocking the show. So you've rehearsed the dance of the week for the whole week. Like literally, Cheryl and I would leave the Monday show if we didn't get eliminated, of course. So we would leave, have dinner, and already be talking about next week's number, and it was like there was no break. We didn't have Saturdays or Sundays or anything like that. It was just go, 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 go. So all of that was quite intense,
Sure.
mostly because Cheryl and I are very similar. Cheryl is very hands-on, and she is definitely a director when it comes to her work, and I am the same. And I didn't come into the show without dance experience. I came into the show with a lot of dance experience. So, we both had opinions on how the number should go and what I should be doing. And so there was an element of like, we were a very, sometimes the War of the Roses kind of thing, like a marriage of two people who are arguing about what should be done. But then the moment we switched on the kind of the entertainers in us, the artists, that was just mind blowing. I mean, it was so enjoyable. It was a great thing, especially because I don't think and she said this before even publicly, she hadn't had a contestant with whom she could create the amount of like real dancing that she did with me. So, and I felt that, and I also felt the pressure of that because I knew that I had to up my own game to also make her look good. And so it was like it was just like a heightened reality within a heightened show. Like,
sure.
You're already
that show is no joke. Like I was in the audience watching that production happen, I was floored because it's live television, like they're doing it right on the spot. Everything's happening live. There's no time for them to cut. So like those commercial breaks, it is a whirlwind of what is happening, and just watching that and seeing that behemoth of a show happen, you can see the work that goes into it, and you just know like how, and all of the cast, they all seem so polished and so perfect. And it's like that week that you're rehearsing and putting that together definitely shows up on stage for sure.
Yeah. And also what happens when you're in those kinds of shows, and I don't know what other show is like that. I mean, because you can't even say the singing competition shows are like that because Dancing with the Stars has this thing where you're literally just put in a place where you just have to shine.
Right.
They're giving you the design of the stage, they're giving you the costumes, they're giving you the choreography, they're giving you the music. Everything is just so there and ready for you to shine, right? So you feel that pressure. You really do feel that pressure. At the same time, it's really nice to know that it is designed to make you look good. But when you don't, when you make a fool of yourself because you forgot a step or you fell on your ass or whatever, 10 million people are watching that too.
Yeah.
So the pressure that you put upon yourself is humongous, and it's bigger than the pressure that that the show puts on you. So I think I lost a little hair from that year. I'm sure I did.
Well, so you had said that Girlie Show, listening to the audio of Girlie Show, was your very first exposure to Madonna. Carrie Ann Inaba was on Girlie Show with Madonna. Did you ever talk to Carrie Ann during your time on Dancing with the Stars about Madonna? Did you ever be like, Carrie Ann, I have to ask you about Madonna?
What do you think?
I want to say yes, of course.
I would have said, Carrie Ann, may I have a word with you immediately?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So week one, we just did the salsa, and then they give us a score. They go to commercial break, and just before we're ushered backstage, I just run to Carrie Ann. I just run to the judges' table. It's like,
Love it.
Carrie Ann, sorry, can I just say I freaking loved you in the Girlie Show? and she just winks at me and goes, "Oh, so you're very familiar with me then?" And I'm like,
You know
yes.
what? Juan Pablo,
Yeah.
we had Carlton on the show, and he told us that Carrie Ann was the hardest working dancer on that show because of the pole work that she did. Like, it's like that took everything out of her, but she was the biggest trooper on that tour. And I loved hearing that.
Yeah, I mean that whole pole thing, coming down the pole with her boobies out, and just like, yeah, beautiful, just beautiful. That's why I love this woman so much. Carrie Ann, yes, but Madonna especially. It's like she showcases almost in a Renaissance way what beauty is, you know, in her work. What the classic artists used to regard as just measures of beauty, and I love it. I love that show so much because of that, because it was so classy, even in its raunchiness and in its, you know, there's like almost like an orgy going on stage and whatever, but there was something so classy about it. It's, you know, that's what I love about her so much.
Yeah.
Well, so let's talk about music. Sorry, that's my.
You said you weren't going to sing on the show.
I know. That's not singing. That's just that's punctuating.
You carry the tune and then drop
it. So Juan Pablo has a new EP coming out that we mentioned. It's called, the EP is called Vascular, and let's talk about music. So you've had 2 singles out now. Juan Pablo, you can sing as much as you'd like on the podcast.
Well, what can I tell you? I can tell you that I've been working on it for ages. Usually with music is different with anything else, because I don't like releasing anything that is not 100%, you know, to my standard, 100% the best of what it can be. So I've been working on these songs, I tell you, for like 2 years. And these are 6 songs. They will all come out one at a time because I'm releasing a video per song. So it's kind of like a visual EP, really.
Nice.
Yeah, because I for me, a song a song is like an excuse to make a music video.
I agree.
I just love the art of music videos, like Chris Cunningham's stuff and Michel Gondry, and like the Bjork and the Michael Jackson videos and the Lenny Kravitz. Like that for me was the golden era of music videos. So when I decided to release an EP, I was like, I just want to give every song a music video and a chance to shine by itself. So that's why I'm releasing like one a month, and the whole thing will come out probably in April.
Nice. Well, see, that's what we've been wanting Madonna to do, a whole visual album. Why she refuses us a visual album is beyond me. But so thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Well, so will we get some more steamy dance numbers coming up? I don't know what the rest of the music is like, but I thought your current single, there was some really beautiful dancing.
Thank you. Well, I really wanted to showcase what the authentic flamenco looks and feels like on this video. I'm like a quarter Spanish. I was born in Argentina, but my mom's Spanish. And there is nothing really like the flamenco culture, flamenco music, the way it's sort of in the video, especially the way that it describes that frustration that the dancer has just through that dance break. Because for those who haven't heard or seen the video, it's a very kind of, it's like a fusion of flamenco pop, and it's in Spanish. But in the middle of the video, I decided to kind of stop the song and just have him go crazy with the stomping of ground and the flamenco, and it just gave me like a completely different dimension to talk about what he was going through in the song and the rest of the video. Also, I feel like it's like a 3-act play in a way. I don't see it so much as a music video, but more as a short film. So
it was really cool to see the flamenco, because I think not since like Joaquin Cortez in the 90s has there been like an international representation of flamenco and the music and the dance, and I'm so excited. Bring it back.
Oh, thank you. Well, my next video has like another element, but in the female, I'm gonna have a beautiful, gorgeous Spanish dancer, and so I'll bring back bits of that. But in terms of the steamy, I don't know. Like, I think I gave you like what I had, and the next thing is completely different. I don't like doing the same. So,
well, you know, because like Madonna, she's always bringing a little bit of steam every now and again. You know, I mean, like I want to see a Juan Pablo Power of Goodbye kiss, like that kiss that she has in Power of Goodbye. It's like that camera just revolves around the two, her and Goran Vincic for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, we need something like that. So there you go. That's your challenge from MLVC. You know.
Okay. Well, if it's not in a music video, I'll tell you it's going to be in a movie. So
well, hey, I'll take it. You know.
Yeah. Either way, as long as it's taped. So Juan Pablo, will you tell us a little bit about the work that you did with Nadia Ginsburg? She's a friend of the podcast, and we are obsessed with her.
I know, who isn't? I mean, Nadia is amazing. Well, I found Nadia, I want to say like 10 years ago, when she was doing the Madonna logs, which are little episodes where she puts poor Madonna into different situations, and she does it so well. I don't know if there's anyone in the world that does her voice as well as Nadia does. That kind of shaky, almost. I don't know how to describe the voice that she does.
It's a strange, it's very smart how she does it, because it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't sound like Madonna, but then it does sound like Madonna.
Yeah. And then she changes like the pitch of the voice in between words and stuff, which is amazing. But so I remember I discovered Nadia there, and then I realized she's doing all these other characters. She was doing Winona Ryder and Cher, and in quarantine last year, I decided, because I was in my house doing absolutely fuck all, so I decided I wanted to do a web series. And so I created the show called Minutiae, where I was shooting the other actors via Zoom. So the whole point of the thing is the mind of this guy who has the worst therapist in the planet, played by Jack Plotnick. And I literally just cast my friends. So I had an episode with Andrea Barber, and and then Jack, and then I had John Stamos and Sony Nicole. Anyway, so I remember thinking, well, it would be really, really cool in a fantasy situation to have this character of Tomas have a moment with Madonna. And so I wrote to Nadia, and I said, listen, Nadia, I would love to do this. What do you think? I sent her some episodes, and she's like, it's really funny. I want to do it, but I'll explain one day why. But can we do Cher instead of Madonna? And I was like, I will take anything you give me. Let's do Cher. And so it ended up being an episode about dating, online dating. And Cher disguises herself as Cher, and then we find out that she's looking for love, just like my character. And they have this weird.
It's very funny. It's very, very funny. I love. Don't spoil it for everybody. Don't spoil it for everybody.
I won't spoil it. Yeah. So that's how we met, and then we became friends, and it was amazing to direct her, like in character. So she was in the Cher getup in her house, and I'm just saying, okay, can you give me one more, but more like this or more like that? And she was just, everything was gold. Like if I took everything she did, it would have been as funny as as what ended up being on the episode. She's so talented and so
her
adorable.
and Selene just did Instagram Live the other day, and I was watching it, and literally it's just an hour of pure gold, just the two of them riffing and screaming at each other. It's hysterical.
Funny. Yeah. Is that saved? Because I want to see it. Is it saved or not?
I don't know if she saved it. I hope she did, because it was so funny. Just the two of them. Like, they're not even talking about anything, and it's funny.
Yeah.
I can't wait until we get live performances again, because I number one on my list is like, I'm going to go see Nadia.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
And Selena too. I've seen Selena live in LA, and she is hysterical. They're both gold, like you say, gold together.
Yeah.
Well, you did Instagram Live with Nadia as well, didn't you?
I did. The week that the episode came out. Yes.
I feel like I tuned into that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
anyway.
Steph, is it time for my favorite part of the podcast?
Yes. Juan Pablo, I don't know if I sent this to you. I like sometimes this to be a surprise. We do what we call the lightning round here on MLVC. This is basically just meant to be quick, off the cuff, top of your head answers wherever you're at in your Madonna journey right now. So,
in other words, we're putting you on the spot.
Yes.
Okay.
So, without thinking too hard, favorite Madonna song?
The Substitute for Love.
Oh, good one. Favorite Madonna video?
Fuck. That's just too hard. Too hard. I mean, you said it earlier. I think it's Power of Goodbye.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, she looks beautiful in that. It can change too. It doesn't like my favorite video depends on the mood I'm in.
Okay, well, top of your head, what's your favorite video right now?
Bad Girl, and you know why? Is because when I saw your recent video, and you have that flamenco breakdown, that pause, the first thing that came to my head was, I'm like, oh, he's pausing the video like Madonna in Bad Girl. That was what I thought. I was like, see, there's Madonna influences. There's Madonna influences in his work.
Yeah.
Well, that's David Fincher, and that's exactly what I did. I was like,
so good.
I need to do this moment right here. So yeah, you got it. You got that influence.
Yeah, no, I thought favorite Madonna tour.
Oh, come on, it's the Girlie Show, right?
Yeah, it's the Girlie Show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you never know. I mean, maybe he had a transcendent moment, seeing Sticky and Sweet. Watching her jump rope. Who knows? Favorite Madonna look, and that can come from a video, a tour, a photo shoot.
Okay, well, I'm definitely a brunette Madonna kind of person. So I want to say the photo shoot that she did where she was emulating Martha Graham with the bob, with the short hair.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And the I'll remember music video that is probably like.
It was the same time. It was actually the same.
So I want to say that is because it's so weird and so unlike her that's my favorite.
Yeah, she carries off that short hair really well.
Yeah. I forgot who took those photos for the Harper's Bazaar Martha Graham shoot. It was beautiful because she was doing all these like geometric poses, and it was very like modern dance, and it was in a way that we had not seen her before.
I'll give you a close second. A close second is the Harper's Bazaar black hair but geisha. That's like my beautiful shoot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's got so many good looks. It's hard to pick.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
I mean, Power of Goodbye, it's just gorgeous with that hair, that dress. I mean, come on. I wanted that dress.
They made her eyes look like this emerald green. There's something about her eyes and the skin in that video. It's just...
her eyes are scary blue. Like you can see into her soul. It's really they're like it's like that like when you're on a Greek island and you see the ocean, like that's how clear her eyes are. Like it's really weird. Because I had the distinct pleasure of sitting next to her at the Madame X tour and talking to her in the audience in Philadelphia. And
you did.
Scary experience. And
did you shit yourself?
I was so tongue tied. She was asking me, I tell people this all the time. She asked me, what do you think the Madame X tour is about? And I'm like, hi, Madonna. Like I couldn't even talk. So I was like, I run a Madonna podcast and I can't even tell you on the spot what I think of your tour. It was embarrassing.
So aside from
Anyway.
being like all tongue tied, what was your like body to body impression of having this creature next to you?
It's weird. So as people know on the podcast, I danced on stage with her at the Rebel Heart tour. I was and I'm not going to talk about it. I have a whole episode devoted to it. But that was like a transcendent experience, like dancing with her and interacting with her, and like it was euphoric. And then the Madame X tour.
You did the apologetic bitch?
Yes.
Thing?
Yes.
You went up? Oh wow!
I'll send you video. It's fun to
banana
watch.
and everything.
Banana and everything. It's I went into show mode, but because I had seen the show before, so I knew what she did with the fans, so I sort of had a basis for like how to perform with her. Yeah. But Madame X, it was my friend and I. We dressed up in the God Control outfits. We like DIY'd our own God Control outfit, and so she was in the middle. Like either my friend Sean and I were on either side of her, and she was like splitting the conversation between the two of us. And the Philadelphia crowd, and I think her knee and her hip were hurting her, and so she was kind of cranky, and she wasn't as kind to us as she was to like Katy Perry, but it was still, it's still a fun experience. I mean, if you're gonna have a cranky Madonna, come on, at least it makes a good story. But yeah, she was. I'll chat. I'll chat about it with you offline if you want.
Also, cranky Madonna in costume in her own tour. I mean, come on.
Exactly. With dark hair. I mean, she was the dark-haired wig, and she looks flawless. She looks flawless. I was like, I need to invest in her skincare line.
Well, Juan Pablo, we just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. This has been really fun, and we've loved getting to know details of your career as well. And I want to encourage everyone to go to TED.com and look up Juan Pablo's TED Talk, The Story of Your Life. I'm going to do that when I finish recording because I want to hear the story in depth. And also, you can find him on Instagram at Juan Pablo Di Pace and on the web at juanpablodipace.com. And also, you can stream his music on all of the music streaming sites, right, Juan Pablo?
Yeah, Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Amazon, YouTube Music. I'm everywhere. Can't get rid of me.
Yeah, well, and also, and make sure to check out his YouTube channel. He's got tons of great videos and performances. You can see the web series Minutiae. Why am I? Yeah. There's some covers of some great songs. He's got videos like including. Oh my God, Juan Pablo! I made the mistake of watching your live at Feinstein's 54 Below, where you cover "Night Fever" by the Bee Gees right before we started recording, and I literally cannot get "Night Fever" out of my head. I literally have been humming it in my head this whole time. I mean, I love that song, and you did such a killer job of that. So go see that. He's also got his new videos up there. So just go search his YouTube channel after this, and you'll be pleasantly pleased.
Yeah, you can find us, you guys know where to find us, we're on Instagram and Twitter at MLVC Podcast, on our webpage, mlvcpodcast.com, and we're streaming wherever you listen to podcasts. So share us with your friends and Madonna fans. If you know of someone who is looking for a podcast.
Who hasn't heard the podcast, they're missing out.
Tell them to tune in.
So, Juan Pablo, before we go, we thought we'd end the show with your new single. Can you
introduce it for us?
Introduce the single for us?
Of course. So, you're about to listen to Senti, which is my latest single. It's in Spanish. Enjoy it. Dance. And if you've ever had your heart broken, this is the song you want to listen to.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Juan Pablo.
You heard it from him, from the man himself. So we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Until next time.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure.
pasos se cruzaron, como una fantasía nuestros ojos se encontraron. Perdido entre la gente, descubriendo un mundo extraño, bebiendo de la vida con los sueños en las manos. Te sentí, conocí el amor cuando te vi, y mi pobre corazón latió a mí. Me dejaste sin aliento, me mataste en el intento, porque al final te perdí. ¿Cómo curarme de ti si me tienes amarrado? Como un trago fuerte tu veneno me ha embriagado. Esta historia sin final se llevó toda mi calma. Como un juego del azar hizo trampa con mi alma. Te sentí, conocí el amor cuando te vi, y mi pobre corazón latió a mí. Me dejaste sin aliento, me mataste en el intento, porque al final no entendí. Cuando el reflejo de tus ojos se grabó en mi memoria como un sello. Y aunque me haga daño, yo te seguiré esperando hasta el final. Te sentí, conocí el amor cuando te vi, y mi pobre corazón latió a mí. Me dejaste sin aliento, me mataste en el intento, porque al final no entendí, te perdí. Te perdí. Me mataste en el intento, porque al final te perdí.